People come here for peace. It's a vibe that makes you say, yeah, maybe I could find what's been missing. Whatever that is, because we are all searching. Sometimes it's giving attention to an important bond. Other days it's just taking in the sun because that makes you feel so alive. You know, so alive. And seeing parts of history, and then yourself in that history. Boy, that's an experience like you've never had before. Whether you're with a friend or maybe you're going it alone, however you choose to take on the sights, know that here we are taking a bite out of every single piece of life. Let me tell you something. When you taste a grilled fish that has just come fresh out of water, there is nothing like it. There is nothing like it that could come to my mind. People come here for peace. It's a vibe that makes you say, yeah, maybe I could find what's been missing. Whatever that is, because we are all searching. Sometimes it's giving attention to an important bond. Other days it's just taking in the sun because that makes you feel so alive. You know, so alive. And seeing parts of history, and then yourself in that history. Boy, that's an experience like you've never had before. Whether you're with a friend or maybe you're going it alone, however you choose to take on the sights, know.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back from lunch. Just a little side note, we'd like during the question segment for you guys to raise your hand so we can pass the mic for you so our online viewers can hear the questions being asked. Our next speaker is Mrs. Janine Edwards, co-host and organizing committee member for the Anguilla Culinary Experience. She will present an overview of ACE.
Hi, and good afternoon to one and all. I'm Janine Edwards. Thank you for introducing me. And we're really grateful for this opportunity to present the Anguilla Culinary Experience. So today, that is the hat I am wearing. And we're really grateful to Jolene, Sarah Lee, and the team at the Ministry of Tourism for this inaugural event. So I'm going to give you a taste of ACE, no pun intended. So come along for the ride. So we're now very excited because we are into our 4th year. Every year we've grown from strength to strength. We've gathered more and more people on board. There's a whole lot of excitement now behind ACE. So we're very grateful to enter our 4th year next year. And please save the dates. So we've selected the dates very early this year so everybody around the world can plan to be here. And our dates will be April 30th to May the 3rd, 2025. Okay. So we are Anguilla's only destination-wide food and wine festival. And it's a labor of love. It's a labor of love that was created. The brainchild came from Neil and Wendy Freeman, who are longtime homeowners in Anguilla, philanthropists in Anguilla. And they came up with this brilliant idea that Anguilla has so much to showcase in terms of its natural traditions of culinary talent, as well as the celebrated chefs we attract from around the world. So they came up with this idea that we should have a destination-wide culinary festival. So they got a few hoteliers on board, a few restaurateurs, and this is how ACE was born. The beautiful thing about ACE is that, as I mentioned, we have talents from around the world who reside here in Anguilla, and we have fabulous local chefs. So we have been called the culinary capital of the Caribbean for a good reason. And we're very excited that we can bring all this magic together, all this energy. There are not many destinations around the world our size that has over 100 excellent food outlets, whether you're talking about, you know, the sophisticated dining from around the world and the wonderful barbecues. So we have a wide range of culinary excellence throughout the destination. Well, why ACE? Why go through the trouble of and all the hard work of ACE? One of the main reasons we wanted to have ACE was to really highlight and add to Anguilla being known as a culinary destination of excellence. So we actually work alongside other entities like the Tourist Board and so on to really cement Anguilla as a culinary destination. So our work reinforces the culinary pillar. And in the last year, Anguilla has won several culinary awards. We got the World Travel Award, being the Caribbean's leading culinary destination. ACE got nominated for the GIST Best Food Festival, and we actually won that award last year. And then we also got great mention in the Forbes Best Food and Wine Festivals, the Mother's Day edition. So one of our main reasons for having ACE is to attract people to Anguilla to enjoy the culinary excellence, not only in the high season, but to stimulate travel in the lower season. Whoops, you could see I'm new to this. All right, well, this is the most heartwarming part for me. The other mission we have is to really incorporate and fund and support Anguilla's next generation of culinary chefs and food and beverage personnel. So you'll see from all these pictures that we've engaged the young people, all the culinary folks, in many different activities. They actually help us with the organization and execution of some of the ACE events. And you will see we have celebrity chefs come and visit ACE, and they would have one-on-ones with the students here. You can see the Anguilla National Culinary Team in full color. They're a very important part of ACE. And also, we're very happy to be able to give checks to 4 institutes. So far, we have the Anguilla National Culinary Team, we have the Anguilla Community College, we have the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School, their culinary, or I would say the hospitality division, and we also have the future hospitality leaders. So we're able to engage them, getting hands-on, rubbing shoulders with the chefs from around the world and chefs from Anguilla, and there's a lot of sharing and knowledge transfer that happens. And I'd like to really highlight that ACE is a local non-profit organization. So we do none of this for profit. All volunteers coming together, putting their hearts and hands together to make this happen. So we are able to then depend on sponsors and the proceeds of ACE to help put on this great event. So what do we have coming up for 2025? We have 4 packed days of activities. If you want to take a 4-day vacation at that time in Anguilla, you certainly are welcome to do so, because there's something for everyone to do. We have day events and night events. So the first kickoff we have, our first signature event, is the opening night party at Maluhana's Bar Soleil, overlooking the iconic 2-tiered pool and Meads Bay. And this is on Wednesday, April the 30th. And we're so grateful to Maluhana for coming on board. And we're also very grateful to Aurora, who put on a wonderful 2-year signature event. And this really made ripples in Anguilla. And what we love about ACE is that it attracts tourists and also residents. So there's a wonderful camaraderie and energy at these events. I don't know if hands showing, anybody went to any of the ACE events last year? Okay, so we're getting around, awesome, yes. Then on Thursday and Friday, that's May 1st and 2nd, we have a range of wonderful cultural activities and island tours with none other than Quest Experiences. So we really want to big up Clemview and the team. They're fabulous partners to work with. And one of the very important things to us is to capture the heritage and the culture and, you know, that whole local flair of Anguilla. And they manage so beautifully to package this wonderfully for us. And they do things like the moke tour and the salt picking and all these fabulous authentic activities to Anguilla to really honor our culture. So we're very happy to have wonderful partners like Quest on board. So in these 2 days, we have a range of culinary demonstrations, tastings, parties, chef dinners at various villas and hotels and restaurants around the island. So the beauty about ACE is that it takes you all around the island. You're not in one particular place. And that's the whole sort of essence of the collaboration of the entire destination. And then one of my favorite events, which is Saturday, May the 3rd next year, it's the beach barbecue and the basket and bartending battles at the Anguilla Great House. A big shout out to the Anguilla Great House. I don't see Will here anymore. But it's sort of the perfect destination for such an event. And here we have different barbecue vendors coming out and doing their thing. And we also, very interestingly, have the Anguilla National Culinary Team that they put together. Well, they participate in a chef's cook-off. And it's a very exciting event, nail-biting almost. I don't know if any of you have been able to experience it, but definitely you need to, this is a not-to-miss event. Last year we introduced a bartending battle as well, and that went down very, very well. So this event is very much celebratory, it's very experiential, it's an immersive experience. As a guest, you come and you experience, you know, the adrenaline rush of the chefs as they do their magic. And then we also have wonderful restaurant night specials with any restaurant really that wants to participate around the island. So again, I mentioned we are non-profit, so we depend on the kind sponsorship of our sponsors. You can see who our sponsors were for ACE 2024, and we're super grateful to them. We have different levels of sponsorship. And we're happy to welcome Malyuhana on board next year as a platinum partner. So big up to all our sponsors. Recognize anybody? So how do you leverage ACE for your business? We're really excited to get great partnership of everybody around this room, you know, any businesses in Anguilla. We want it to be very inclusive with as many people participating as possible. So you can become an ACE partner or sponsor. So we have different packages, different advertising packages at different price points. You will get international exposure on our ACE website and through our press announcements and social media. And I want to big up here Cabarita Agency, who made a fabulous website for us. You must check it out if you haven't seen it yet. And you as a sponsor will get benefit from this year-round because we promote year-round. And we want to really thank the Anguilla Tourist Board as well for really pushing our offering out there through all their social media channels. You have turnkey ticketing and credit card processing for event partners, so you can sell your restaurant night online through our processing. You can say that you're an ACE sponsor and wear that badge very proudly. And you can get very creative and bundle the ACE tickets in. So if you're a hotel, you might want to put together an ACE package, which includes a few of the tickets along with your accommodation or your car rental. Yes, and another thing you can do if you are not able to be a sponsor, we definitely want all hands on deck and we want you to come and experience the beauty of our local festival. You can treat an employee or give it as an award, one of the tickets. You can come and network and make new clients because I know at these events, I mean, the intimacy that is created and the conversation and the relationship that is built, you can't even put your finger on it. I mean, it's a wonderful thing to do. Also, you may have customers, VIP customers that you want to reward with an ACE ticket. That's always very welcome. Or just have a well-deserved night out, right? We all deserve a little break, so that is another thing. And then you're also knowing that you're contributing to Anguilla's culinary legacy and the youth education while you do that. So I just wanted to share a little eye candy with you here. So you see the color, you see the vibrance, the energy, the smiles, the camaraderie. You can see so much creativity bursting from this with all our partners are putting out their very best efforts on the table and also around the table, right? So these are some of the scenes from the most recent ACE last year. More wonderful scenes here. This showcases our bartenders and the chefs that were cooking off at the barbecue event. So you see, it's really a two-way street. Everybody's learning from everybody. Some of our visiting celebrity chefs comment how much they learn from our local chefs. You know, it's really a wonderful experience. And if you would like to contact us more to be a sponsor or to attend or any question at all relating to ACE, these are our contacts right here. The website is anguillaculinaryexperience.com and our email is here. Our planning committee, Neil and Wendy Freeman, who I mentioned before, they own Villa Alegria and they're also our partners on Tranquility Beach Anguilla. We have Carrie and Jerry Boga from Vea and Sandbar, myself, from Sunset Homes and Janine Connects, and we have Kristen Tavis and Christina Woods, festival coordinators. So thank you all for listening, and I'm happy to help with any questions you may have.
I'm sorry, I was just about to tease Janine and say, do you have any availability for persons on Anguilla that cannot cook at all? Is there any...
That cannot cook?
We just can't cook. Any helpful, you know, lessons or activities?
You mean in terms of volunteer roles?
In terms of anything that will gain them some experience.
Well, we do invite the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School to send a lot of students to visit our celebrity chefs. So you don't necessarily have to have culinary talent to attend, but you have to have, a passion for tourism or hospitality. And there's a lot of sharing that happens there. So you don't have to be a chef. I, for sure, am not a chef. So, yeah, there's something in there for everyone. And in terms of volunteering opportunities, there's so much help we need, in terms of persons helping out. You can definitely be part of ACE, even if you can't cook. Yes. Any other questions? Any volunteers who want to help out with ACE? Sharon, is that a stretch or is that a hand up? Oh. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time, and hope to see you at ACE next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Edwards, for that exciting update on ACE. Our next speaker is Mrs. Sharon Richardson Lowe, Marketing Officer at the Anguilla Tourist Board, who will provide a tourism marketing update.
Good afternoon, everyone. As introduced, I'm Sharon Richardson Lowe, Marketing Officer at the Anguilla Tourist Board. The Tourist Board, as you may know, is responsible for the marketing and promotion of Anguilla. And today I'm happy to share with you a marketing update. Wait, sorry. I'm sorry, I'm new to presentation, so I need a little guidance. Okay, this is an overview of what I'll be presenting today. It will include our performance, accomplishments, and our focus for 2025. We'll begin with our statistics. Sorry, I have to see the screen as well. Okay, our statistics for Anguilla has shown increase year over year. In 2023, our overall figures were 95,944 arrivals, and it has been the highest annual figure in the last 32 years. The graph on the side, it compares 2019, which was our pre-pandemic year, to 2023. For quarter one of 2024, we've outperformed both our pre-pandemic and post-pandemic figures. Our stayover visitors for May alone total 10,068. This has been an increase of 28.6% over the corresponding month for 2023. This has also been the highest increase in terms of percentage for 2024. That's from January to May. Also, based on data, and this information comes from our government statistics department, arrivals for May outperformed any period for May, as I mentioned before, in terms of tourism numbers. And the second highest figures for any month of May was May 2019, when it was 8,166. So we are like probably 2,000 visitors if we compare 2023 and 2019. And we can also say, so far from January to May, our total visitor arrivals is 98,052. And for these 5 months of 2024, January to May, we've already surpassed our 2023 overall figures. So it's quite fair to say that we are doing fairly well, and our figures are really, really improving, and we hope that we can continue in this trend for the rest of the year and into 2025. A few of our accomplishments. As Janine mentioned before, we are known as the culinary capital of the Caribbean, and we've been awarded the leading culinary destination by World Travel Awards. We achieved this award, I think it was in July of this year. We also had our beaches. Our beaches were named sorry, it's on the next slide, I'm sorry. The number 3 and number 5, I think it was Meads Bay that was number 3, and Shoal Bay was number 5. That was on USA Today's awards. We also had among those awards Beach Bars. Elvis was at number 2, and the Sunshine Shack was at number 3. We had Aurora Gulf Coast achieving number 2 for the best Gulf Coast in the Caribbean, and Zemi Beach was number 7 for best resorts. Here are some more of our achievements. We had 2 of our top properties, Four Seasons and Cap Juluca. They were ranked with top honors from Forbes Travel Guide, and this was earlier in 2024. And the growth in some of our markets. In our South America market, even though it's some small figures, when we compare 2024 June to 2019 June, we've seen some growth. So it tells us that our marketing efforts are proven to be working for us. We've also launched a summer campaign, which we called Exclusively Yours. This was in an effort to help boost tourist arrivals during the slower period. So this is where we had some of the properties offer special packages that would encourage visitors to come to Anguilla. We partner with our neighboring islands, specifically St. Martin, both French and Dutch, where we partner on trade shows. So for example, we go to trade shows and we will share the booth, make the cost a little less for us. We do fly-in programs, which is they would have agents fly into St. Martin and then we'll host them for a day or 2 so that they can experience Anguilla. And we also attended SMART. SMART is a regional trade show, annual trade show that St. Martin hosts. And we would attend, we meet buyers and so forth. I think this year we had quite a few of the properties attended as well. We had Deanne from Tranquility, Caramar, and Manoa. They were in attendance. We are also partners with Virtuoso Travel. We have about 6 or 7 properties on the island that are Virtuoso hotels. And this has proven to be very beneficial for us. We had 2 Virtuoso seminars, webinars. And during those 2 days, we saw over 276 agents. So we were able to share Anguilla with those agents. We've also seen increased bookings from Virtuoso, 14.3% in 2023 compared to 2024. And when we compare 2024 from June to present, there's a 211% increase compared to 2019, which was pre-pandemic. Diving. We've recently established diving as a main focus for Anguilla's tourism. And in doing so, we are actively promoting diving, Anguilla as a premier diving destination. We collaborate with the dive operators on the island, Matthew being one of them. And for the first time, we'll be attending DEMA, which is a dive trade show in Las Vegas. We will be attending that in November. Matthew will also be accompanying us because we are not dive experts, so we need the guidance of those who know. So Matthew and our Chief Marketing Officer, Kimberly, will be going off to Vegas for that trade show. Some of the other things we do, we host familiarization visits. This is where we bring trade and media to the island. This year we've had the opportunity to host some top brands. We've hosted National Geographic Traveler from the UK and CNN from Brazil. So they visited the island, and in turn, our partnerships with them would help to increase our visibility in those markets. But these are not the only familiarization trips that we've hosted. We've hosted on numerous agents over the last 5 months, but these are 2 top media brands that we have hosted. And CMITE. Anguilla has added meeting and incentives travel to our pillars. And one of the opportunities we had this August was to host CMITE. CMITE is Meeting and Incentives Travel Exchange. It was hosted at Aurora. We also had partnership from Malliahana for this event. There was over 100 agents who visited the island, so they were able to experience what the island offers and see how it best fit their clients. So we're hoping that we can see the turnover from this quite soon. Our mid-market properties. We are collaborating with our mid-market properties. We've contacted several of them recently to offer our services. We have an in-house photographer who is Christophe Pradel. So he will be going out to the properties to take photos, videos that we will use to help market these properties, and they'll also be available to them for use as well. So we know that the budgets for our mid-market properties is not as large as the bigger properties. So this is one way we offer our support. And our 2025 focus. So as we look ahead, there are a few key areas that we are going to continue to focus on for 2025. And those are access. You know, we are having the airport development plan, which I see Kendall will speak about later. So we're going to be looking at that, the implications for tourism, and how we can improve air access to the island. We will continue to promote the island for MICE travel, promote sustainability, and then we are hoping to launch our travel advisor program. So this is a program that will be attached to our website. Travel agents will be able to visit the site, get information, and then there will be a test or exam, so to speak, at the end of it, where they become certified Anguilla agents. So they would have this, for example, at their email signature, so you can tell that they're certified agents, and hopefully this will help drive some business to the island. And very brief presentation, just covers a few of the things that we've done and our accomplishments. And there you have two ladies. Our contact information is our Chief Marketing Officer, Kimberly King, myself, our email addresses. If you have any questions that you don't want to ask here, you can email us. You can email us, and we'll be happy to provide any information we possibly can. And with that, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. Any questions? Going once? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson-Lowe, for that marketing update. And thank you to Candisha for leading us through the afternoon so far. I will now take over to guide us through the final presentations. Our next speaker is Mr. Kendall Richardson, who will present on the airport development updates.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How was lunch? So while I wait for the presentation to display, my name is Kendall Richardson. I'm the Quality Assurance and Compliance Manager for the Ministry of Infrastructure, with responsibility for aviation and maritime. And I am tasked today to present the airport development update. I somehow get the feeling that this is what everybody's been waiting for. So what we're going to outline today is where we came from, where we are at, and where we're going. So phase 1 was the enabling works, which is now completed. Phase 2 is the cargo building, which is pretty much completed. Phase 3 is the airport terminal building, and phase 4 is the extended runway. I'll breeze through phase 1 and phase 2 pretty quickly. This is the overview of the enabling works. The enabling works would have consisted of a new parking lot, a new expanded apron, and a taxiway on the south side. So the enabling works, as the name implies, would have been necessary for us to move forward with the construction of the terminal building. And you'll see exactly why each and every one of those elements were important. So this is an overview of the parking lot. It was taken from a bucket truck, no drones at the airport. This is an overview of the expanded apron and the Southside taxiway. The cargo building. So the CJLIA cargo building. And I tried to find a recent picture. Sorry, I tried to find a picture of the cargo building actually when it was new. And this is what I actually could find. So I wanted to put that up. But the cargo building, as you can see, was a pretty old structure. It was not fit for purpose. There was multiple security challenges. There was customer and staff were exposed to jet exhaust and, of course, loud noise from airplanes that were parked nearby. It wasn't a climate-controlled area. So with the development program, we broke ground on the new cargo facility in January 2023. And sorry, that was supposed to be January 2024. And the new cargo building is now fully operational, fit for purpose. It has adequate access controls, which mitigates against our security issues. It's repositioned to the south side of the airport, which reduces the jet noise pollution, and it's now climate controlled. There's a few areas that we're still working on to get the ramp fully commissioned. So there is a need to finish the painting and so forth, but it is operational. And if you haven't been there, it is a beautiful site. So the terminal building project. The terminal building project, just some quick statistics. The operational area is about 48,000 square feet. That's supposed to be square feet. It's a single story with provisions for expansion upstairs and left and right. There's a mezzanine lounge area, which is landside, and we wanted to ensure that we get this specific area in the building plan, because if anyone remembers the original current terminal building, the original layout, there was an area with a restaurant where you could actually stand and view your loved ones when they were boarding the airplanes. So we want to ensure that we have a site, an area similar to that, where it's controlled, it's not in the security restricted area, and you can actually stand and wave goodbye to your loved ones. The passenger demand is over 300 passengers per hour that's in and out. There's 16 check-in counters, and just to put that in perspective, there's about 8 right now. And the whole room capacity is about 250 persons comfortable. And comfortable is used because it keeps a high level of service. This is our overview of the terminal building. It comes with an entrance plaza right before the terminal building entrance, which was a regulatory requirement to have a 30-meter setback between the main road and the terminal building. So rather than just having a plain open space, we decided to do something with it and try to make it a bit nice. You can see that it has 3 Code C aircraft stands, and those are aircraft 737s, Airbus 320s, etc., with a possibility of a 4th. So right on the corner on the side. Anything else? Not really. That is the apron. You'll get a better view soon. These are some renderings of what it will look like. There are some shade structures to keep us out of the elements. Another set of renderings. One is the land side and the other is air side. And This is where we're currently at. I think this is the most recent picture that I have. This was taken from the tower a few weeks ago. So this is where we're currently at with the construction. And you can tell by this picture the sheer size of this building in comparison to the current terminal building. Another aerial shot. And you can tell from this picture, if you look in that area, we already started the expansion of the apron. And you can also tell that that picture was taken more than probably 3 weeks to a month ago, because the old cargo building is still there. That has since been demolished. This is an overhead view of the apron works that's currently going on. And this is a video. I don't know if I can play it from here. There we go. So this is a full view rendering of the outside, both landside and airside of the terminal building. There's sound on it. I mean, the sound ain't the best music, but it's a little boring without sound. So you can see the shade structures in the front of the building. And you can also tell that we put some effort into having that space. It's just not a blank space. We wanted to ensure that we have some kind of aesthetic look about it, rather than just having a blank, open concrete space or dirt space. Trees. There's green space. That doesn't, because what you see there doesn't necessarily mean, you know, we can plant trees there. That's fine. Yeah. There's palm trees. So this is the air side, where you have the 3 large Code C aircraft stands in front of the building, and then there's another one if need be. There's another one on the side which can accommodate another aircraft. That is the upstairs mezzanine that you're looking at. So you can see it gives you a full view of the apron. If we don't tint the windows, then you can wave it to your family. Any questions on the terminal before I move on to the runway? Go ahead, please.
I'm not sure if I saw it, but is there a designated drop-off for like personal vehicles versus taxis?
So the whole front area is a drop-off area. The taxis it's designated that the taxis are going to drop off first, and then the other side further up would be for personal vehicles. Yeah.
Great question. That was one of mine.
I know. Wow, a lot of questions.
Wait, Mike, please.
A lot of questions. I shouldn't ask for questions.
You know, Anguilla is very hot. Anguilla is very hot.
Yes.
So I've noticed that with this modern terminal, there's no room for, you know, when the aircrafts would drive up to...
Jet bridges.
Yes.
Somehow I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
So there's a number of challenges with jet bridges. The first challenge, to be quite honest, they're very expensive. Very expensive to purchase, very expensive to maintain. The other challenge is jet bridges are kind of built for terminal buildings that has arrivals and departures up and down, both levels. So it's difficult or almost impossible to get it done with 2 separate wings, if you understand what I mean. And unfortunately, jet bridges were not created to keep us out the sun. They were created to separate arriving and departing traffic for security reasons. So the idea for this terminal is that we would have to have some sort of bus system because we do not want to have persons walking, too much persons walking on the ramp back and forth. So there will be some sort of transportation system.
You say you have room for expansion. Is the expansion going to be up or across?
There's room for both. There's room for expansion upwards and left and right. Yes.
Good afternoon again. I just want to ask how, looking at the driveway that is proposed for traffic moving in and out of the airport, how
Yes.
close is that to the main road right now? How will that affect the main road that runs parallel with the airport at this time?
Which the road that is
yeah.
east and west or north and south?
The east and west.
So the east and west road, which is Wall Blake Drive, I believe.
Yeah, the one that's up and down from the roundabout, yeah.
So it's a really good question, actually. So what you will notice, the traffic pattern is going to change. It's going to be reversed. So when you drive into the airport now, that would actually be the exit. So you'll actually be driving around and entering on Mahogany Tree Road. Thank you, officer. The Mahogany Tree Road, that would be the entrance, and then you drive out onto Wall Lake. And the reason for that is so that you can accommodate easy drop-offs and get back out very easily. Does that answer your question? Does that assist in answering your question?
And the parking, the general parking, where is that going to be? Is that going to be on the north side? Or
Yes.
on the west?
On the north side. So
Is there enough room for that?
Sorry?
Is there enough room for that based on?
Absolutely. I think there's a slide at the end that gives you a big overview, so you can see the parking lot and everything. And then we have the parking lot that we just created, which can also act as either overflow or car rentals, however ASPA decides to manage that.
Okay, I got a quick question. It's math. So
math.
It's math. So how many people can, not really, but kind of, how many people come in on the American Airlines? Like how, on the plane, what's the capacity?
Anywhere between 65 to 70,
Okay,
full flight.
because you're saying 250 is the comfortable capacity of the airport, and you're showing 4 potential planes. So,
That's 250 persons per hour. So that's just processing times.
okay.
Yeah.
So the capability, we'd be able to accommodate 4 larger, like, with the expansion, would we be able to
Of course,
accommodate larger
with
planes?
expansion, absolutely.
And therefore, if we had 4 planes in that are larger,
So
like,
there is, of course, if you have 4 airplanes that can hold 150 persons, not saying that the terminal would not be able to accommodate, but the level of service reduces without
Right.
an expanded terminal. Does that
yes.
make sense?
Yes.
So it's not saying that the whole room cannot accommodate it,
Okay.
but the level of service obviously
It'd be
comes down.
slower.
So the level of service right now, when 2 Americans is caught on the ground, is pretty low.
Yes.
So it's just a matter of how much you can accommodate and how low that level of service can go. But the idea is that you do not necessarily want 3 or 4 of those on the ground at the same time.
Right.
You'll have to try to schedule them and work with the carriers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we going to move, is the goal to move into, move to a place where we could accommodate?
Absolutely, that's
Right.
why we would have made room for expansion of the terminal.
Okay.
It never getting to you, Sandra.
Will there be any stalls for rental car agencies?
When you say stalls, you mean offices? So there is a area that is, as you exit the customs area, There's an area with a big table where those, that can be accommodated. But that depends on ASPA and how ASPA wants to handle that, manage that aspect.
In addition to that, because judging from what has happened at the Blowing Point Ferry Terminal, there's not a lot of space down there for additional office space, car rentals, etc. So now that you're doing this new airport, that was one of my questions with regard to space for car rental offices. Would there also be space for stores, shopping?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there are currently, there's a concession on the outside of the terminal building. There is a concession in the upstairs mezzanine. There's a full kitchen concession in the departure hall, and then there's a smaller section in the departure hall as well. We also allocated some space in the departure hall for booths, so entrepreneurs can open businesses and sell different stuff. So there's actually an area in the departure hall for that as well. So there should be about at least maybe about 10 to 12 areas for concessions.
Very good, because I think that was lacking from...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Can we move on to the runway? So the runway slides are very short because actually we're still in the preliminary stages of design. So it's not a whole lot of information. The runway extension, we are hoping to get construction started as early as we can next year. There's a lot going on in this slide. I only want you to pay attention to numbers 1, 2, and 3. So number 1 is the extension. Number 2 is the widening, because the runway is going to require a bit of widening. I think it's about 7.5 meters on each side. And number 3 is where we will have to reprofile. Now, reprofiling means from number 3 to the end of the runway, we'll have to take up and raise the elevation going forward. This is just some numbers. The takeoff distance we're trying to achieve is about 7,000 feet, and the landing distance is 2,613 feet.
Compared to what we have now, is this what we're going to get?
Yes.
Just for my brain.
What we have now is about 4,900 feet takeoff distance.
Can you point that out on the screen?
No. Oh.
Yeah. Like right now, today.
Oh, okay.
Wow. And this is what we're going to achieve at the end.
So if you go back. So that's
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Wow.
Sorry. And it's just the same on the other side. There's 2 runways. There's one going this way and one going that way. Although it's one strip, it's 2 runways. So it just signifies the distance on either side, taking off in either direction. This is the range that we're looking at. The current range now, based on the runway configuration that we have, as you know, the Embraer 175 flies directly to Miami. The Embraer 190, so that, what color is that? Orange? That orange line depicts the range of that aircraft, or those aircraft. And the Embraer 195 E2, which is a new aircraft, pretty new aircraft, the current connections, it can take you to about New York, Washington, Charlotte area. So by 2026, when the runway expansion is completed, you can see our range has significantly increased with the aircraft at the top. So that's the E195, the Airbus 220, and the Boeing 737-800 MAX. Those are different types of aircraft, sorry. There.
So you mentioned the aircraft models. How does that translate to like amount of passengers? compared
Very
to
good
the
question.
60, 75 that you mentioned? That we
Very
currently
good question. Most of these aircraft in that top category can take anywhere between 120 to 160 passengers, depending on configuration.
have? Okay,
That's a good question.
thank you.
Nope. And this is the overview, the final layout I was talking about. So you can see the blue areas where the new terminal building is going to be. I'm not good with colors. You can see there's space for the new parking lot, the driveway where the vehicles and taxis will drive through for through traffic, as well as enter to park. And then you can see the full layout of what we envision the apron to be. There's room for parking aircraft behind the larger aircraft as well, smaller aircraft. So if, going back to what I said earlier about buses, you can see there's a need for buses because we don't want persons to be walking from the terminal building over to these smaller aircraft or anywhere else.
Is there going to be a next phase? And will there ever be an opportunity for direct flights from Europe? Like to accommodate? Or is it just not based on space? Is that not practical?
The aviation world evolves very, very quickly, and there is an aircraft in particular that is capable of doing London straight to Anguilla with this new runway configuration. But yes, there's always going to be another phase.
It may be waiting for that to catch up so that they can utilize.
You're going to put me in trouble.
I'm always in So essentially, like,
It's possible.
what develops quicker, our ability or technology, essentially?
That's true, right, correct. Yeah. I think this is the end. Any more questions? This guy.
Out of curiosity, so I know we currently have the existing airport building. So when it's time to transition,
Man, you
how
have some
is-
good questions.
how is that going to be done? And what will the space where the current building is going to be turned into?
You asked some really good questions. So, if you look at this layout here, the current terminal building is somewhere around, what's got a pointer? Somewhere around this area.
Okay.
So, the idea is once the new facility is completed, we would have had the paving from where American Airlines parks now, straight up to where the current terminal building is, going westward. We will then pave from next to the terminal building, the current terminal, up towards the new terminal. So I'm talking about this area here would then have to be paved. Once that area is paved, we can then transition from the old terminal to the new terminal, because now we have access for passengers, for service vehicles to move between the new terminal and the apron. Once that transition is complete, the old building will be taken down, that area will be infilled and create more apron space.
Thank you.
Just for the purpose of those that yeah, just for the purpose of referencing as it is now, you can just point out some of the existing structures that are there, like the new parking lot, where the road is and stuff, just for people to understand.
So where the terminal building, where the new terminal building is currently, that is currently the parking lot. The fire station is depicted here. That is the car park that we just built. What else you see the point of?
The existing road that we would use, the main
So,
road.
This is the road here, and this is Mahogany Tree Drive.
Yeah.
Drive.
Yeah, just I know that not everyone is good with maps, so that's a good reference for everybody to understand.
Absolutely. Thank you. On the back.
I'm sorry, but I didn't hear, when are you hoping to complete the actual airport? Because you're saying the runway is 2026.
Yep.
Which means we then have, in theory, the capacity to be able to allow bigger planes. But when are you finishing the actual airport to allow for that?
Which
building?
The building?
The building
The building
itself.
is slated for completion by next year, September.
So by the time the runway is completed, then
By the
we will
time-
be able to deal with everything.
Oh, yeah. By the time the runway should be started, we should be working on both concurrently. Then the terminal will be completed, and then we can focus all our efforts on one project for once. That's it.
I'll just ask it out loud. Will you be resurfacing the entire tarmac?
Yes, I think that is in the plan because we want to increase the PCN, and once we widen it, I do think the tarmac or the runway.
The tarmac, the runway.
So the apron, no, the apron is not going to be resurfaced, not the entire apron, and the runway itself, yes. Right, Travis. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson, for that exciting update on the airport plans. And thank you, guys, for your questions. So our next speaker is Mr. Omari Bourne, Fire Station Officer at the Anguilla Fire and Rescue Services. He will discuss enhancing fire safety and emergency response for protecting the tourism and hospitality facilities in Anguilla.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I'd like to say thanks to Ms. Jolene for inviting us actually so that we can share what we do at the Anguilla Fire and Rescue Service, especially as it relates to hospitality. So a part of the safety culture, generally speaking, the Anguilla Fire and Rescue Service, oh, my apologies, dear. Omari Bourne once again, Fire Station Officer with responsibilities for domestic. So actually, as it relates to the fire service, we have 3 divisions. So we have our airdrome division, our maritime division, as well as our domestic division. Our airdrome division actually deals primarily with all the activities on the airport. So that impressive airport presentation that was done by Mr. Richardson, everything as it relates to the airdrome is on that side of things. And with that said, we as a fire department, we play a key role, or we're one of those key departments as it comes to when anything regard passenger movements and so forth. So irrespective of how long the runway would be extended or how fancy facility we would have in terms of a terminal structure, the fire department, if there's no fire trucks working, we all know that no passengers, no plane in landing. So that's why I'm here. However, on that side of things, we have three appliances that is capable of handling our current passenger movement. And with the extension of the new terminal as well as the extension of the runway, if that facility is completed tomorrow, I can safely say right now, we have enough appliances to man that facility. So we are ahead, actually. We are a step ahead in terms of with our appliances and so forth. As well as, let me just briefly touch on the search and rescue side as well. Currently, we have 1 vessel. We're expecting another vessel next week. And we all know, once again, how fire ties into hospitality. There's an increase in everything in terms of water sports and so forth. We have, that one boat, and we have a next one coming. And currently, our division head, Mr. Juni Fleming, he's in Mexico doing some training as well. So that is part of our next division. The other division is domestic, which I head. So domestic deals with basically everything, almost everything. So we deal with in terms of the regulations from the building phases. So the chief fire officer, he's on the land development committee. So if there's a new project that is going on, for example, we can use Annie Villa project. From the initial stages, we have someone that is sitting on that board that would be able to make recommendations as it relates to fire and fire safety, whether it's emergency access or generally speaking. Also, we have our deputy, Mr. Carly Lake. He's on the building board, so that is where, in terms of our codes are enforced, our regulations and so forth. And on the other side, on the flip side of that, we have a fire safety team. So when the initial plans come in and the recommendations are made, our fire safety team or our fire prevention team would then go out and we would do follow-up inspections and visit to the site. So that's from construction to finish. So we would ensure that, there's hydrants, there's provisions for hydrants in terms of as well as water, emergency access for the fire truck. If the building is going 3, 4, maybe 5, as much as 7 stories high in the air, ensure that the necessary fire protection systems are in place, whether it's wet riser, dry riser, inclusion of a central fire alarm system and the full works. So we have that side of things as well. So with the fire safety standpoint, we also have what we call a fire certificate of compliance. So basically, it is actually to say that you're in compliance with our local regulations. So for example, if you have a structure, a building, and for whatever purpose, we will come out and do a fire risk assessment, and we would say you would need to have, because of the facility, whether it's a medium or a high-risk facility, we would say, hey, you need to have a central fire alarm system, and you need to have a hydrant, you need to have a sprinkler, and so forth. You need to put these things in place. However, we would do the fire risk assessment. On completion of that, we will give you a report, give you a period, maybe 90 days. Most of the time, we actually try to work with the different organizations, maybe extend it once they start to make some progress and so forth. And after that, we will issue them. There's a small fee that is attached to the fire certificate of compliance. We would then, they would pay that at Inland Revenue, and we will issue a fire certificate of compliance. And that would last for 3 years. However, with that, we do follow-up visits. So from time to time, we may just pop in to make sure that, your fire extinguishers are good, your central fire alarm system is not down, or your hydrant system, whatever safety systems that you have in place, that it is still functioning. But with that said, one of the challenges that we have is, yes, we would have properties or persons going through the entire process, putting everything in place, and after a year and a half, you would find the central fire alarm system is not working, or the hydrant is not working, and so forth. So that is one of the challenges. However, we try to do as much follow-up inspection because we don't want, in the event of that fire emergency, we are fortunate to not have any deaths by fire recently, especially in hospitality. So in terms of ensuring that your smoke detectors, you have early warning and detection system in the event of a fire, as well as suppression systems as well. The larger hotels, I know for sure the Four Seasons and the Reef, Mirroring, yeah, they have detection as well as suppression systems. So if there's anything, it alerts you, as well as if there's a fire, it also extinguishes as well. So basically, that is what our domestic division does in terms of fire inspections, a lot of follow-ups to ensure that everything is in good working. Or apart from that, the domestic division also have a responsibility to regulate fireworks, bonfires, and open flame activities. So we process all fireworks application, as well as bonfire. Not quite regulated as yet. However, we still do encourage persons to in terms of, like, follow best practice in terms of if you're going to have a bonfire, you can reach out to us. You fill out an application. We can give you some safety pointers as well. And so, after that, we would issue a permit. We give you a go-ahead. We will put a crews on alert that there's a fire or a bonfire at XYZ beach. There's a few beaches that bonfires are not allowed. So we're just trying to regulate that process, as well as open flame activities, primarily like wish lanterns. That's huge in hospitality. We have quite a bit of fire dancing and stuff going on right now. So, once again, because just looking at it, generally speaking, fire, open flames, safety, in the event of anything going south, we want to have an heads up in terms of what we're responding to, and so forth. All right. Also, and finishing up in terms of the size of the properties that have been existing or fully operational, we do encourage persons to have the staff train in basic fire safety, whether it's just simple extinguisher use and so forth. Also, let's start that culture of doing fire drills, which is very important, because in the event of that unexpected occurrence, we want to be able to know what to do. So once again, you're working in an area, know what you have in terms of fire. If your exit is compromised, do you have the necessary or the correct type of fire extinguisher? Do you have 2 ways out? And these kind of things. So also that could tie in back to your fire emergency plan. So as a department, these are the things, or this section primarily we regulate. However, if you guys have any questions or concerns, just feel free to reach out to us at the airport, at our email address, our Facebook page, and so forth. And we would be more than happy to come out and assist as it relates to a fire risk assessment, give you any guidance with regards to your fire safety systems, what you need, and so forth.
So
go ahead.
You provide that sort of support.
You provide that sort of support at your facility, like at the fire department, or you come out and you perform like classes or any certification, or how does that work?
Yes, so for example, yes, we do provide that service or support. So for example, if your organization requires basic fire safety training, we would be more than happy to facilitate that training. Just reach out to us. So you have a staff of 100, we will be there. So depending on what you want, so depending on your organizational needs. So for example, a place like, let me use Anglec, we would do in terms of basic fire safety, that would entail just fire extinguisher usage and so forth. And then we would do some, a next package or another level, that would be like your fire marshalling and so forth. So we would train personnel at a different level. They would take responsibility if there's a fire to ensure that the other staff or patrons safely get off of the premises or get to the evacuation or assembly area and so forth. They would have an insight in terms of how to silence the fire alarm system, or to use the fire extinguisher, or put together a team to form the first attack. And then we would have an industrial set of training, whereas there's quite a few facilities on island that have hydrants. So the industrial side of it, whereas persons can form a team, they have hydrants, they have hose reels and so forth, whereas persons can safely, we show them basic firefighting tactics and techniques where persons can do an attack until we reach. There's properties on an island that actually have firefighting gear as well.
Impressive. So my follow-up question would be, is there any outreach or any subdivision of fire that targets the youth and getting maybe like the comprehensive schools involved in like a cadetship of the fire services and training and so forth? Because they are our line of defense. I mean, we're all getting, well, me.
Yeah.
I'm getting gray. So I am always thinking of who's going to replace what you're currently doing.
Okay, nice, good question. Yes, fire prevention, and I'm just going to use this opportunity to share with you guys some information concerning Fire Safety Week, Fire Prevention Week. So, but directly to your question, for Fire Safety Week, we're going to be targeting the kindergartners. We have a kindergarten program that we've been running for the last 12, 13 years or so, where we invite all the schools into the fire station. We target them. But at that age, we would do just the stop, drop, and roll in 911 system and so forth, give them little fire hats, give them a little drive round. And this year, part of the Fire Prevention Week, we also targeting the preschools as well as the 2 senior classes in high school. We actually invited them to our open day, which would be at the post office area. So apart from the kindergartners, the preschool, and the high school students, we even touching base with our senior citizens, because this year campaign is smoke detector, let them work for you, and we're actually going to be having a campaign where we will be issuing 150 smoke detectors. We're going to be servicing the senior citizen homes, as well as if you know of anyone in your community that that is most of the time by themselves or so forth, we're going to be installing some smoke detectors and so forth. Hope that answers you. Okay, just in the meantime, before I leave, Fire Prevention Week, let me just briefly, because I'm hoping to get some support. Fire Prevention Week is actually from the 6th to the 12th of October, so we're just about a week out. And for this year activities, the Sunday we're going to start with a church service. That's Church of God of Holiness. That's right there, Pastor Phillips on the hill. And on the Monday, we're going to have a fire truck parade or a fire appliance parade. We have so much fire trucks that we can actually parade them on the streets now. Don't take that serious. Yeah, no, serious, but more on a serious note. On that day, so from about 8:30, 8:45, we are expected. So we're going to have the different divisions is actually going to be on the road. So we're going to leave the airport and we're going to circle the valley, slow-moving parade, flashing lights and so forth, and we'll be giving out a little thing here and there and so forth. So that would be our 2 domestic appliances, the one that you see, the big one that you see frequent up and down the road. Recently we have a new addition to the fleet. This is a rapid intervention vehicle, but that one primarily deals with rescue and so forth. We're going to have one of the aerodrome fire tenders. Usually those are not permitted to come on the road unless the airport is closed, but we got so much now that we can bring one on the road. Yes, serious. So for the first time, you can come out Monday and take a look at one of our aerodrome appliance, as well as we're going to have our boat a part of the parade. Yeah. So basically, once again, I said it's a slow-moving parade on Monday morning. Time, say, about 8:45, 9 o'clock or so.
Can I inquire as to why you would run this program when the schools are in so the kids can participate and see, versus doing it on a Sunday or a Saturday?
Sunday. But we still try to accommodate them, because with the week, we've always reached out to the ministry in terms of the Ministry of Education too. So at different activities or different day of the week, we would engage different sections of them. So early in the week, midweek, we would have the kindergartners.
Like, who's this for then if the kids
The general public. The general public. Yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah, but we invited everyone to actually to come out and to be a part of it. Where was I? On the Tuesday, Wednesday, as I said earlier, is our kindergarten program. We've been running this program for ages. Usually, first we used to go to the schools. However, it's more of an excitement for them to get on a bus and come to the fire station, to see the airport. A plane might land here and there, and at that time.
I'm not saying you don't do programs with the schools, because I know you guys do.
Yeah.
I know that, right? But
Yeah.
I was just curious, because you're bringing out all this fancy stuff, but
So you're suggesting that we invite the entire, we'd be,
or if it was to be done on a weekend where parents could then take their kids and participate.
I'll take your suggestion into, yeah, well, maybe, okay, well, let's see how it goes this year, maybe next year, Saturday, next year we're gonna do it on a Saturday. Yeah, but it's a welcome suggestion as well. And, as I said, the Tuesday, Wednesday is just that program. Thursday, once again, different target audience, general public. We're gonna be doing free fire extinguisher training by the post office. So we're gonna have, I think, 2 of the trucks there, our domestic appliances actually there. We're gonna have a little tent. You guys can pass by with members of your organization or whoever, friends, family. Yes, we did that last year, and maybe you'll get a little souvenir or a little gift from the fire department, you know what I mean? And on the Friday, in-house, we're gonna be having some firefighting challenges. So we're gonna have a number of sporting activities on the grounds, and we will end the week with a little social. So once again, I just use this opportunity to maybe invite you guys and let you tell a friend and bring a friend. Yes, the calendar has been published for quite some time, and yes, it's on our Facebook page as well. Yes, so once again, thanks. Oh, no, go right ahead.
Mr. Bourne, you know I had a question for you. So we would have spoken because my family has a venture called Picnics in Paradise. So usually we would go to the beach and set up picnics and events. And before we start an event, we would usually go and clean the beach, clean the area of the beach. There have been occasions where we found illegal bonfires, where we've had to clean up nails and staples, pieces of wood and so on the beaches. So I would have reached out to some governmental partners about this. So what I would like is just a suggestion of a partnership between yourself, Department of Environment, some other internal partners. I'm glad you mentioned the Facebook page because our young people are on Facebook, they're on TikTok. We could have a collaborative effort with some messaging that educates our young people on safely using our beaches. I'm looking forward to that. You can always reach out to me to assist with that, but that's something that's very important to our tourism product. Imagine a tourist going to the beach and stepping on a nail or a staple or something like that. It can be very destructive to our tourism product. So I was making a suggestion, but have you made any inroads into your legislation, first of all, and like a campaign, an awareness campaign?
What I can see, this bonfire issue is being going on for a while. However, we actually had a paper as far as we submitted a document from the fire department standpoint to our permanent secretary for him to take it to the House. However, we had need to do some more public consultation with regards to that thing. But however, what I can tell you, with the bonfire issue, we work closely with the National Trust, Lands and Surveys, as well as environmental. I can't remember which one of the, something with environmental. Yes, so with regards to the same issue, because we have pictures and we have evidence, and once again, I must applaud this young lady, because every time somebody goes strike up a bonfire on Rendezvous, she call me. Serious. She wanted to know if they get a permit, and that's good looking out, because Rendezvous beach is one of those beaches that people just go and they just do the thing. They take old pallet boards once again, and as a result, that's why you would find nails and stuff like that. So with regards to that bonfire process, yes, we've been working closely with those departments. And once again, if someone apply for a bonfire permit, we would once again brief them or what is expected of them. So no pallet boards, no treated wood, that kind of stuff. You're expected to lay down a galvanized sheet or have a tray to, in terms of pick up the stuff that the wood when it's finished burn and that kind of stuff, and you clean up accordingly. And I just clean up from on the beach and throw it in the bush right next to the beach and stuff like that. So yes, but we had little setbacks as it relates to the bonfire application, because there's actually a fee that is attached to the bonfire application. But hopefully We get something work out pretty soon. No, it's in terms of the permit. We have a single use, so that, for example, you have persons popping up just want to have a little festivities on the beach, and then we have one that is for a year, so that would cater more to the event planners and the hotels and so forth.
Do bonfires, but I go through the process, I apply. So I know how to identify a bonfire that is illegal. So if I go to the beach, like I take walks on the beach every day because it's very close to my home, I will, probably clean up whatever it is I see there and probably notify the relevant person. So there is a process, I follow the process. It's important to follow processes because it keeps us all safe.
Thank you, yeah.
Hi, I just want to say, too, that the question that was asked about educating young people, with the way that the school is running now, I was approached by the principal of the high school then, not now, and asked if we would be able to do an after-school club. And I said, rather than doing just disaster management, we needed to include fire and police, so that we do a safety club, an after-school safety club, so that everything is encompassed and it doesn't kill out one department, because we can all do it. And that way we get all the message across to everybody. So that I just wanted to say that.
All right, thanks, Susan. Yeah. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, folks, for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen, for your updates. Our final speaker for today is Ms. Carencia Rouse, Chairperson of the Beach Vending Committee, who will share an update on the process of beach vending.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carencia Rouse, and I'm the Acting Chief Natural Resources Officer for the Department of Natural Resources. I have to put a disclaimer out that I am not currently the chairperson for the Beach Vending Committee, because that person is the Director of Environment, who is also the curator of beaches. But I can still give this presentation on the committee's behalf. My purpose here today is to give you a brief overview on the process for applying for a beach vending permit and to set some context. I do not have a presentation because I'm really going to be talking about the law, and laws can be very boring to look at. So hopefully you find it more entertaining to listen to me talk. The ultimate goal of today's presentation is to help to bring awareness to the process with the ultimate view of improving compliance and therefore making our job a bit more effective in terms of enforcing the beach vending regulations. So a beach vending business refers to any business where you are providing one or more of the following services. That's renting beach equipment, providing fine art services, or selling souvenirs, arts and crafts, or apparel. If you will be providing a beach vending business, you have to apply for a beach vending permit. And that process is managed by the Beach Vending Committee, which comprises of 5 public officers, including the Curator of Beaches, who is the Director of Environment for the Department of Natural Resources, the Commerce Officer from the Ministry of Finance, the Tourism Planner from the Ministry of Tourism, the Director of Physical Planning from the Ministry of Lands, and the Director of Lands and Surveys. That is a very small committee, so in order for us to have a quorum to meet, we require 3 persons. But although it's a small committee, we, as public officers, we're often juggling a lot of responsibilities, so it can be sometimes a while before the committee can meet. It's also important for me to manage your expectations, because not because you submit a beach vending application means that it's going to be reviewed within the same week. We cannot review your applications unless you have a quorum of the committee. I think it's also important to highlight 2 prohibitions under the beach vending regulations. One, you are prohibited from operating a beach vending business without a beach vending permit. And 2, you are also prohibited from operating outside of the terms and conditions of your permit. So for example, if you have a beach vending permit for, let's say, the provision of fine art services, you can only provide fine art services. You cannot rent beach equipment. And if you want to modify your permit, you have to apply for a modification to the committee. Please feel free to ask me any questions while I'm presenting, because this is intended to be interactive. I also want to highlight that there are special cases where if you are the proprietor of a hotel, restaurant, or bar, villa, what have you, you have the sole right to operate a beach vending business on the beach that's adjoining the land upon which your hotel is situated. However, you still have to apply for that permit. If you don't have the permit, you still can operate that business. Any questions so far?
Oh, wait for laptop. You might ask a question and you might have...
That's fine, you can ask me now.
Thanks. So when you receive a permit, is there some sort of physical thing that a seller could know that they're justified to sell at this time?
I'm sorry.
Like a license, like a car.
Yes, so you get an identification card once you have a permit that you're supposed to, if it's you, you're supposed to wear on your person so anybody can know that you have a valid beach vending license.
Okay. And that'll be if it's a sole trader. So if it's a business like the hotel, their staff should have a badge as well? Or?
Not all of them, but whoever is going to be the main points of contact on the beach. So if you're the person, coordinating the rental of the beach equipment or the use of the beach equipment, that person, it should be visible on that person, as well as the person who applies, so that can also be the proprietor.
Okay. And is there a fine for someone selling beach stuff without the permit?
Yes, 50,000 EC dollars, or imprisonment of 12 months. Yes.
So they sell seashells at the seashore. But nobody. So regardless of what you're selling, it's...
Yeah, so once you're operating a beach vending business without a permit, that's the fine.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And one more question.
Sure.
Oh, if you get the license, is it for anywhere in Angola? It's for a specific place that you're applying for?
Okay, it's for a specific place. So I will walk through the application process after, but I was just setting the context within the beach vending regulations so that you can understand what you're obligated to do.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Would this apply to mobile spa services?
No.
So mobile spa therapists can operate on the beaches without a permit?
Well, please also, I have my colleague here from the Ministry of Finance who can also field questions, but I don't think this is something that we've been asked before, and I don't think the law has a clear answer, so it would be at the discretion of the committee.
Mobile spa services.
Yeah, but I mean, if for one day you want to operate on a particular block and parcel, it's important for you to get permission from the owner for that block and parcel. So that's something that the committee would also want proof of.
But if it's a public beach,
Okay, so that's why we're saying that's why it's important to pay attention to the clause that states if you are the proprietor of a hotel, restaurant, bar, what have you, you have the sole right to operate on the beach adjoining the land for which the hotel is, upon which the hotel is located, but you still have to apply. So that's for the hotel owner or the villa owner or the restaurant owner or the bar owner. If not, you need to find out who the block and parcel, the ownership of the block and parcel, and either lease from them or get permission to operate your business there. But at the end of the day, the purpose of the beach vending regulations is to manage the use of the foreshore in Anguilla, which is the government's right. Any other questions? Okay, good. So I can move on to the fee schedule. So if you are renting beach equipment, the application fee is $200 EC. If you want to modify your application, that's an additional $100 EC. And if you need to replace your permits, that is $50 EC. If you are selling souvenirs, arts and crafts, or apparel, the application fee is $200 EC. If you are modifying your permit, it's an additional $100 EC. And if you want a replacement, it's $50 EC. If you are providing fine art services, which includes paintings, drawings, what have you, that is, the application process is $500 EC. If you want to modify your permit, it's an additional $250 EC. And if you want to replace your permit, it's $50 EC. I think that's a pretty reasonable fee schedule. And your application, your permit can only be for a duration of a maximum of 3 years. But again, that's at the discretion of the committee. So depending on what the application involves, we can decide to give it to you for 1 year, after which you would need to reapply 1 month before the end of your permit. Or it can be for 3 years. Sure. We have 2 questions.
Does the application cover building of structures?
No. So I will get to the application process itself. I think this is a good segue. So on the actual application.
I just wanted to ask, but, oh, sorry. Forgot what I was going to ask. Oh, yeah. Do you still need to have a business license?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
You cannot apply for a beach vending permit without a business license.
So basically, somebody who wants to start to sell goods on the beach would have to have at least $200 to pay for that, plus whatever the business license is. And, okay, all right.
But they would first have to apply for the business license.
No, I know. I
Yeah.
just thinking what the startup cost would be.
Okay. Any other questions at this time? Okay, so I can walk you through the application process. I also have a few copies for anybody who wants, but if you need to get one, you can get it from the Department of Natural Resources. Our office is across from the Central Electoral Office, or you can get it from the Department of Lands and Surveys, which I prefer because once you're there, you can make sure you ask them for all the additional documentation one time, or you can retrieve it from the Government of Angola's website. Okay. So it's a pretty simple application form. The front part of it asks you for your details, including your name of the applicants, your contact details, etc. It also asks for site information, and this part is very important. We need you to include the block and parcel number. If you are leasing, you need to provide evidence of that. And if you are getting permission from somebody who owns or leases the block and parcel, you also need to provide evidence of that as well for the committee to consider. And if you are operating the beach vending business as someone who already has like the hotel or a villa or restaurant on a property, you need to provide evidence of your planning permission. Because if you don't, then you're going to have to go through that process before you can come to the beach vending committee.
Devil's advocate, so is there redundancy in having a business license to operate a particular business associated with maybe beach art or fine or jewelry or whatever arts and crafts it is that you're using in a particular area?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you so well.
Sorry, I have to work on my theater voice. Is there redundancy then in having to apply for a business license to operate on a particular beach? For example, let's say I want to rent beach chairs down in the forest. I have to get a business license to operate as a beach chair vendor, pay those annual or whatever the fee schedule is for that, and meet the criteria to be able to be granted that particular license, and then I have to apply for a permit to do the exact same thing that the business license is authorizing me to do? I'm asking.
Okay, you can answer.
The business license is to operate the business.
Mhm.
The beach vending license is to operate the business at the beach.
But wouldn't my business license say where I'm operating?
You would say because it's going to ask where the business is operating, but that doesn't give you the right to operate based on, we're guided by this also, the beach vending committee, we're guided by this. So you're getting permission to operate your business because it involves trade. That's what a business license is for. So for trade to happen. The beach vending license allows you to operate within that space, even though the business license has that place of operation. It's for trade. The beach vending allows you to operate within.
That's very great.
Yeah.
That's very great. I'm sorry. That did not clearly make it make sense for me. That didn't clearly do that. But I get that you're trying to separate or distinguish between the two entities, but it's a very great.
If I can just add to that as well, I don't like the idea of private beaches, but if you are operating on a private beach, then you don't need a beach vending permit. The permit is for operation on Crown land.
In the audience, it was just noted that there are private beaches on Anguilla. That's news to me as well. Where are they?
Well, we were informed by the Department of Lands and Surveys that there are 2, Sandy Hill Bay and at Shoal Bay West. I have to be honest and say that I don't know if it's the entirety of Shoal Bay West. Yeah, we're talking about mainland Anguilla. Most of the offshore keys and their beaches are privately owned, but on mainland Anguilla, there are 2.
Okay. I was not aware. Thank you.
Okay, any more questions at this time?
Just so I understand this clearly, so if you're in your initial application for a permit, if you apply to offer, you want to offer 3 different services at one time, would it be cheaper to do it then? Because you're saying if you want to upgrade, you have to pay an extra fee. Is it cheaper to just at the initial stage just say you're going to be offering 3 different services on the beach?
All of the 3 services that you are allowed to offer as a beach vending business. I have to think about it. I don't know which is cheaper. I think, yes, once you're ready to offer all of those services, it's best to do it upfront. Yeah, because the committee would need all of that information to properly consider how best to set the terms and conditions of your permits. Any other questions at this time? Okay, I also want to mention that if you are only offering beach equipment without a charge, then you do not need to pay the application fee. The application fee for rental of beach equipment is only if you're renting the equipment. But if you're offering it free of charge, you don't have to pay the application fee. Okay. So in terms of the documents that you need to attach to your application, you would need to include the location plan, the site plan, detailed plans about what the space looks like, how far you're going to be operating in relation to the vegetation line, that type of detail, as well as other supporting documents, including photos, ID markers, etc., particularly if you're renting beach equipment. Now, this shouldn't be too difficult because if you are a hotel or a bar owner or a restaurant owner, you would have already done this for the planning permission. So all you have to do is just send us a copy of everything you submitted for that in terms of the documents. So that should be fairly easy. If you are renting beach equipment, you need to also supply us with a marker for your equipment. So what are you going to use to let us know that that equipment belongs to Rainbow City Bar, if you understand what I mean? Good. And we also need you to pay very close attention to that application checklist because oftentimes we receive beach vending applications and it's missing a lot of documents and then we have to call you back and tell you, okay, well, you're missing sort of this type of information and then it delays the process even further, especially if the committee has already gotten a quorum to meet because then we have to reschedule and then wait until people are available again, which further delays the process for you. It's also important for you to note that if you don't have the right to live, remain in, or work in Anguilla, then you cannot apply for a beach vending permit. And if you do, you need to provide us with that evidence of your right to live in Anguilla, your right to remain in Anguilla, and your work permits. So please pay very close attention to those requirements on the application. And after that, you're ready to go. You can submit your application and the committee will consider as soon as we've gotten a quorum. Any questions?
How long does the process actually take from application to completion? And it's 2-barrel. And then once I get it, I can start working immediately? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if you submit an application on Monday and we've checked and you have all of the required documentation and I contact the committee on Tuesday and everyone is available to meet on Thursday, and we meet on Thursday and you've satisfied everything, we can set the terms of your permits and we can respond to you by Friday. However, if you are missing information, that delays the process. If the committee members are busy and are not available or out of office, then that delays the process. And if it's a complex situation where we are required to consider more than what we initially thought, then that delays the process. So it really depends on what's included in the application.
So my question is a similar one to what I asked Mr. Bourne. Like I said, I go to the beaches and I often have to clean up the beaches. So I've paid for a beach vending license. And now I'm going to set up in the morning time and there is large amounts of garbage on the beach. Is there a contact person or an organization that I can call to clean up the area that I use?
Yes, you can call the Department of Health Protection at 497-2631.
That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
No, the reason why I know the number is because I work at the Departments of Natural Resources, formerly the Departments of Environment, and people often confuse the two. So we often get calls for health protection, so we have to tell them right then and there, okay, this is the number to make it easier for them. So that's why I know. 497-2631. Sure, the Department of Health Protection. Sure. Any other questions? Okay, well, I would like to say something else, just to set some context for you. Considering all of the hotels, villas, resorts, restaurants, and bars that we have in Anguilla that have been operating for all of these years, only 2 of them have valid beach vending permits. And that is the reason why it's important for us to raise awareness. By no means am I here to crack the whip on anybody. I just want to help to build that awareness so that we can improve compliance. Sorry? Yes, so the committee, we've met and we've decided that, we need to kickstart the process. But before we can do that, we do need to give people a chance to comply, and that's what this is about. So please feel free to call us at the Departments of Natural Resources or the Departments of Lands and Surveys to find out more about the beach vending application process. And if you have any questions about either the regulations or the Beach Control Act, you can give us a call. And if you want any copies of the application, I can share with you. Sure.
There's the mic.
Thanks. So you said that an organization can apply for a beach vending license, right?
No, the proprietor of a hotel, restaurant, bar, or someone who has an individual business.
Okay, so if there's an organization that wants to allow persons to sell products on the beach on their behalf.
On the organization's behalf?
Yeah. Can the organization apply?
Does the organization own the property upon which the beach is adjacent?
No, they would be applying like anybody, like an individual.
Yeah,
would
so
apply.
then the contact person for that organization would be applying for the permit, but you can say on behalf of.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Yeah, but of course, you would have to find out who the block and parcel belongs to so that you can get that permission.
Does this also apply to Does this also apply to say for boat race, where we have the vendors on the beach, or August Monday, when it's just like a temporary something for the day or for the week, or
no,
or that's separate?
Yeah, that's not the committee. That's not the beach vending committee. It has to be considered by some other committee. Any other questions? Okay, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ms. Rouse, for your insights into the beach vending process. We will now have Ms. Jolene Robin Williams, tourism planner for Micro and T, to give us a recap of the afternoon sessions.
Thank you, and thanks to everyone for being here today. As we wrap up this afternoon session, we digested quite a bit between this morning and this afternoon. We shared some success stories, and we also identified some development areas and how we can improve, and not just for our own organization or business, but for Anguilla. So I would like to challenge each of you to some next steps. Firstly, I would like to ask each of you to share the information. If you're part of an organization or a business, share the information with your team. Let your team know what support the ministry can give or what support anyone who presented can give. There is a government department or unit that can provide support in almost every area of tourism development. We had disaster management, we had beach vending. So we have so many different government units that's there willing to provide support. Even fire, fire is willing to come in and assess your building. And I must say that they have been extremely instrumental in all of our most recent developments. Even with the Wallblake House, stepping into a house with so much age on it, I think Omari was the one. He came in, he assessed the building, he let us know what's needed and what will be needed in order for when we open that it's a safe space for our tourists that will be visiting. We need to collaborate, and a lot of times we find ourselves reinventing the wheel. And there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. We can all be a part of whatever is happening. So let's come together, let's collaborate, let's talk about discussions, and let's make decisions. Early intervention is always the best intervention. We've heard it from fire, we know about it from the Hello Tourist program. So let's continue to create an environment that our children from an early age can get to know about tourism, more than just mommy and daddy are working at the hotels, but a little deeper. And also that there are a lot of different careers within hospitality and tourism. Me saying that is also leading on to another factor that stay tuned, because I was speaking to Jacinta, who is the careers coordinator at the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School and at the Department of Education. And we will be collaborating in the near future, to display a lot more careers within hospitality and tourism. So coming out of this meeting, this was something that we say, hey, let's get together, let's do this. Okay, so we hope to see you back soon. If you have a plan, share it. You need some guidance, request it. Be involved in every policy decision that will affect you or your generation. A lot of times we always extend invitation to our stakeholders, and we're very thankful for everyone who shows up and have a seat at the table, and we would like that to continue, because that's the only way that that all of us can effectively contribute to the growing industry. Before I conclude, personally and on behalf of the Ministry of Infrastructure and Tourism, I would like to extend gratitude to the Acting Permanent Secretary of Tourism, Mr. Travis Carty. He is probably in between meetings, but for his support in allowing us to take this tourism sector update forward. I think it was extremely timely, and I'm happy that it was held. Later, we'll probably share, some feedback forms with you so that, we can decide if we're going to have it annually or biannually. I'd also like to thank our supportive Honorable Minister of Tourism, Mr. Hayden Hughes. I would also like to thank the Government of Anguilla PR team, Shez Watley, who provided a lot of coverage for this event, Titanium Sound and Audio, Visual and Sound, Chef Sasha, the team at McQueen Tourism, which include Sarah Lee Benjamin as the Product Development Officer, and Candisha. This is the first time that we are actively engaging with the youth in the form of the Anguilla Youth Parliament, and Candisha is the Junior Minister of Tourism. So she'll be understudying a lot of what we do at the ministry, including in the near future having a study day or two with the Honorable Minister of Tourism. We also have another former parliamentarian with us, that's Ethan Harrigan. I was very excited when I saw that Ethan registered on his own to be a part of this, and he ensured that his registration was received. So it was very good to see you, Ethan. Last but not least, I would like to extend gratitude to our partner, the Anguilla Tourist Board. You would have received some extremely nice bags displaying Anguilla, along with some nice little gifts inside of them. So those were gifted by the Anguilla Tourist Board. And you'd be surprised, sometimes I'm overseas and I'm using my bag and someone identifies. So they're excellent marketing material and also a kind gesture for us to just tell you thank you. And we appreciate the work that you do. We see it, we know it. And happy World Tourism Day. Let's continue to work together. Thank you, everyone, and have a safe weekend.